Hello class. In this video we're going to be doing a quick review of what percents are, and we're going to be combining that with the idea that percents, decimals, and fractions can be used to represent the same thing. Now as always, you should remember that percents are ratios that make a comparison out of 100, and if you can, before you continue watching this video, you are going to want to take out your notes that do go over how to go from fraction to decimal to percent and percent to decimal and back to fraction. Now, on your worksheet, you'll be seeing a couple of slides that look like this. And what they'll be asking you to do is to find various percents of certain shapes. Now, in the first example, they say that this yellow shape over here is 100%, and that fraction is 1 whole, and the decimal is 1.0. So you'll be analyzing the various shapes to say, okay, this red shape is this much percent, this is a decimal, this is a fraction. Now, while I'm not going to give you the answers to the first slide, I can give you an example of some different shapes that go over the same types of percentage problems. So here we have a couple shapes that are red, green, yellow, and blue. And in this example, we've said that the red square is 100%. And you won't be able to do this with these shapes because you don't have them at your desk, but with the ones at your desk, you can take them out and manipulate them. And you can see that this red square, because it is 100%, I can take this blue square and see that about 4 of these blue squares fit into this red square. So I could say that fraction, this blue square, would be 1/4 of my entire shape. Now you should know from class that as a percent, 1/4, if I wanted to turn into a percent, I'd say 1/4 is equal to x over 100. Well, that's just 25%, since we have a scale factor from 4 to 100 of 25. And as a decimal, you should know that's 0.25. And if I looked at my yellow shape over here and compared it to my red shape, I can see that about 2 of these yellow shapes fit within this red shape. So it takes up about half the space. So I can say that 1/2 of the shape is yellow. As a decimal, we should know by heart that 1/2 is 0.5, and half of 100% would be 50%. Now lastly, we have this weird green shape over here. And you can't really say that many of these green shapes fit exactly into here, but you should be able to notice that a yellow shape, so this yellow shape over here and this blue shape go right over here. Now I know that this yellow shape is 50%, the blue shape is 25%, and if we combine that together, we should be able to see that this is 75% of the red shape. We're only missing that 25% from here, so that's another way you can look at it. And as well, I'm going to want to turn this into a decimal, which is 0.75 if you remember from our class discussion, or it's 3/4 of the entire shape. Now what you'll be doing with your partners is looking back on, or I should say before you go into that, there will be examples where the red square isn't your 1 whole, but in fact the yellow shape in this case is the 100%. Now that would mean because the blue shape is only half the size, you can see over here it's only half the size, that's only going to be 50%, which is 0.5, which is 1/2. Now you can see that 2 of these yellows can fit into the red shape. So really, instead of this red shape being 100% as it was last time, it's actually twice as big. So it's 200% of our yellow shape. That decimal would be 2.0. And you could say that this fraction is 2 over 1, or really it's just 2 if you simplified it. And then this green shape, again, it's going to be more than 100%. In fact, just like as we did in the last example, we can combine the yellow and the blue shape to say that this is going to be 100 plus the 50% to give us 150%. That decimal would be 1.5, or as a fraction, you could say, if I wanted to represent this as a fraction, you could say it's 15 over 10, or just simplify that and say it's 3 over 2. Now, what you'll be doing with your partner is you can physically take the shapes out of the bag. Please make sure that you don't lose any of the shapes. The number of shapes and colors that should be in there are listed on the bag. And you'll be using these to figure out what percent of a certain shape is within another shape. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to ask the sub for any help. Thank you.